Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Moonraker. And this movie came out in 1979, and it's the 11th James Bond movie, if I counted everything correctly. And I thought this one was good. I liked it enough to the point where I had a good time. I thought the action in this movie was fun. There were a few too many cuts in some of these action scenes for my liking, but overall it was entertaining enough that I didn't feel the need to want to pause the movie to walk around because I'm just that bored. And that's another positive I can say about the movie is that it was consistently entertaining. I also enjoyed the goofy tone along with it. That helped with my enjoyment of the film. And I also do appreciate that we got Roger Moore as James Bond. I thought he did really great as James Bond. I'm not sure if I like him more than Sean Connery, but he still does great in this movie. At the very least, I can say that much about him. He captures what I like about the character very well with his performance. And I do appreciate that they brought back the character Jaws. I thought he was a great character in the last movie, and it was nice seeing him, and the scenes with him in it were definitely enjoyable for sure. Even if I do feel as though the way they treat him was a bit goofy, and towards the end they kind of betray the character to the point where I'm like, this doesn't really work for me. But overall, I did like seeing him again. And there were some good shots in this movie, surprisingly, and I also got a good sense of the environment in this film. It's taking place in all these different countries, and I really got a good sense of the location. Like, sometimes it's in Italy, and I loved it that I was able to see the location. I was so happy about that. I also did admire the usage of practical effects like I do with all of these James Bond movies. They always look nice, they're always well done, and there's lots of hard work and effort put into making this look great, and I do appreciate the work that went into it. And to get into my issues with this movie, I did mention that the practical stuff in this movie looks great. The stuff that takes place only in a computer, the visual effects, like the computer animation, didn't hold up the very best. There were some obvious blue screens, and I just couldn't get past the fact that it was blended poorly with the human beings in front of them. It was just taking me out of the experience, and that's the worst part of the movie for me. And the third act of this movie, I felt kind of fell apart a little bit. And I just feel as though it kind of just turned into Star Wars. And it was kind of distracting for me. I'm like, this doesn't feel like James Bond anymore. But it was fine outside of that. And the story for this movie was fine overall. I don't think it did anything to make itself stand out from any other James Bond movie. It was like, yeah, this is a James Bond story, and that's about all I can really say about it. It exists for you to see the character do cool things and for you to be entertained by it. And it's also interesting to think about that this movie is kind of leaning a bit more towards a science fiction route. It came out a couple years after Star Wars and the same year as Alien. So those are a couple things to keep in mind about it. There was also a death scene in the first act of the movie that I found to be ineffective for me. It was just, oh, that happened, and it was supposed to set up stakes and to make you feel intimidated by the villain, but the way it was executed, I just found it to be kind of goofy and just completely ineffective, like I've said already. And while I did enjoy the goofy tone of the movie, I will admit there are a couple moments in this movie where it did become a little less like James Bond and more like Looney Tunes, I must admit. With just how goofy some things are, I'm just not really buying the fact that this is really a spy movie anymore. It's more or less a live-action cartoon almost, except trying to be more serious. And that's about all I have to say about Moonraker. It was good. I enjoyed my time with it overall. I don't think it's nearly as good as The Spy Who Loved Me, but still enjoyable. I'm happy that I saw it, and I'll rewatch it whenever I get back to rewatching all these movies. So check this movie out whenever you get the chance, and with all that being said, I'm going to give Moonraker a 6 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos as always. If you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below your thought of Moonraker, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see you when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for The Neon Demon. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.